about it, and I needed to scratch the surface a bit because I don't think we've heard from the CLO, or neither have we heard from you. I think we talked about it briefly last week, right?
Yes, and you were to bring some documents.
No, that was the budget.
That was the budget. Okay.
Discussing the budget.
So as a result of Nyesom Wike's vituperations lately, several governors have been, coming out to say they got or they didn't get, or this is what they used that for. Delta State government talked about getting about 30 billion thereabout. Obaseki yesterday did come out. I've not been able to read the figure. He reacted to Nyesom Wike's challenge and also spoke about his as well. But the Mail captured something from His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel saying this 13% derivation refund controversy. Well, the Mail puts a headline here that I'm very curious about, and I'd like to get your take. We would like to get your take. It says here, I am transparent. I never collected the so-called money Nicodemously. This is how the Mail puts it there. And I'm really, really curious. It comes with a rider here. Says the money he got from the federal government couldn't construct 27 kilometers of road from 18 and Junction to East-West Road. And it says what we have done in the aviation sector is more than the funds we collected. Utwigon, I'd like to just, scratch the surface. What's your take? Because the conversation is, everywhere.
I'll be speaking as Franklin the song now because the CLO is yet to come up with any position
on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
As Franklin the song, I personally want to say that though Governor Nyesom Wike had made the revelation that monies is using to construct projects or flyovers and the rest in River State are monies paid to the 6 oil producing states of Niger Delta region, and these monies were held since 1999. That is the 30% derivation fund that we have withheld, and that is what he's using to do projects in his own state. And I have read several, I call it furor. I've seen several reactions, several commentaries, some politicizing it, and some trying to make political statement out of it. I think this is not necessary. Why do I want to say it's not necessary? It's because every fund released by the federal government to state government is channeled through the state government account. Anybody can access it. If you Google the Ministry of Finance, funds given to the state government is going to be reflected there. So bringing up the question of how much was given, how much was not given, I got this, I didn't get that, completely is a distraction of, for me, it's a complete distraction. What we do as a human rights group or as a civil society group is to engage a constructive engagement. We go around to see what the government is doing. We engage the government to know if the funds gotten from the federal government is commensurate with what has been done in the state in terms of projects. And then you also have the annual budget. You check the annual budget of the state government. Are these funds reflected there? You look at it. When the government make supplementary budget to the assembly, are these funds reflected there? Fine. Where do we have these monies to do even the one that the government is doing in terms of project? Let's also know. So when you now begin to ask these questions and check the budget, and then you check the Accountant General's report of annually every year, you cannot be able to verify to know if these things are actually reflected there or not. Like I said, I'm speaking as Franklin the song now. CLO, we may need to, come up with a position on this, because what we see is people trying to cash in and make political statement out of it. My own understanding as a person is that government is not run on pages of newspapers. Governor Nyesom Wike, perhaps, if he didn't want to score political points against his other governors, he wouldn't make the comment he made. Because what he made was like painting a picture that these other governors are not doing what he is doing. And, he is doing much than these other governors. And so he seemed to blow the president trumpet. Look at the list of these other governors. 3 or 4 of them are of the same party with him, and they have disagreement with him in terms of the issue of candidates. He's not towing their own line. So bringing that statement and making it look like the other governors are thieves. He is the only one that is a saint that is doing this and that. It's completely a political, a statement that will hit up the polity that is happening now. Asking for accountability is a key, demand that every group, every person should hold his government accountable. When Governor Fabio left the scene, we are able to know how much he left as debt, how much he left as asset and liability. So if you begin to ask a government to give account of what the government is receiving today, and the government still has 3, 4, 5 months to stay in office, you will be completely unfair. Well, at the end of the day, when the government is gone, you can now Google the Minister of Finance, Google all other, department office to check the debt he has left behind, check the Minister of Finance, what has come into the state, and match them with what you have in terms of project, and see if these things are commensurate. If they are not commensurate, you can now go to EFCC or ICPC calling for a proof. But beginning to prove the government when the government is still in office, you are just going to be, boxing the air, because the government will tell you he's working. He's still working. And until when the government, hands off and hand over, questions can now be asked as to see how much you got, and this is what you have left behind as debt, and this is what you have left behind as asset. Then you can now marry these things and justify them. This is my own opinion as a person.
Invariably, you're saying there's no need.
Because the government is still in office.
So there's no need people making all the much noise and hula.
It's just a political. Let me tell you, Ike, I am saying this as Franklin in the song, not as CLO, as a journalist. It's good to hold government accountable. But truth is, the government you are holding accountable is still in office. And it tells you that his project is still running. He's still doing projects. You get the point? It's like you are still working. And somebody is holding you accountable to come and give account. You can always say the money that they're asking for are used in social projects. But when the government is done with his project and is gone, you can now come out with a detailed amount of money that the government has received, what he has used, what he has not used. But when the government is in office, you just be boxing the air. So all these issues are just, for me, a distraction. That's for my own opinion.
So before we leave this and my colleague brings the next issue to the table, invariably all of this heating up the polity is unnecessary, and you also feel that Governor Nyesom Wike was just trying to score political points with that statement.
Can I shock you, Ike?
Well, not just me, shock you.
I am not a politician, but I can read the minds of politicians. Governor Ayofayoshe was as tough as Governor Nyesom Wike. Recall the story of what happened. The day he left office, he had a polo. He went to EFCC and said, "This is me," with a polo on it.
Yes.
Have you heard Fayoshe of late talking? So you can imagine people who want. I'm not saying Wike wants soft landing. I'm not saying he wants soft landing. I'm just trying to read the minds of politicians. Wike has always been vocal, vociferous, speaking against federal policies, arresting federal government agencies, making issues and that, go to court and this. So Wike perhaps is trying to tell Mr. President, I am not fighting you. That's my own opinion. I thank you for what you have done. And this is what I have done. And then you look at it. The governors of the South, apart from Nyesom Wike, that has a contrary opinion on the issue of PDP crisis, that is agreement, every other governors are not in his page. So he could afford to say all those things and make them look like he is the only saint because he's talking.
All right.
And then these other ones are thieves. That is my own opinion. I'm not holding it for the government or for the governors.
It's good that you've told us.
This is my own opinion, yes.
So you're entitled to your opinion.
Exactly.
I believe Amazing has something else for us, though.
Okay, well, definitely the conversation on the 13% derivation fund will continue to be a major one in the coming days. Well, do keep monitoring